Hey guys, welcome to the Gray State and this episode of the Rounds Up. Today, it's a great day. We've been actually held up really bad in northern Indiana. It's kind of still a frozen tundra out here. It's a little bit windy, but it's enough of a good day to get out shooting. And we've been, like I've said, we've been holed up for a while, especially with the polar vortex, and we get slammed with snowstorms and everything else, and then ice storms. You name it, we got it. But we're out here today, so what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to be taking a look at a round that I've seen on the forums a lot, and I actually found it locally, and I just had to grab a few boxes of it to see how it behaves. The round I'm talking about is a round that I've often, a lot of times people pass up because they don't know exactly what they're getting with this, and they're kind of turned off by the name of it, but it's Black Hills Ammunition Mark 262 seconds. These are the 77 grain open tip match. I'm going to be taking a look at these today. One more thing to say, this is the 223 version, this is not the 556 version. I wasn't able to find that locally for whatever reason, so I grabbed a few boxes of these and we're just going to have to make do. Now today, since this is a rounds up and we're going to be testing this round out and seeing how it actually performs in the capacity of which it was designed, today we're going to be taking a look at this thing out at range. So same three tests that I normally do. It's going to be 10 rounds chronographed. It's going to be 10 rounds downrange at 100 yards. I might try and do 2 groups to see how this thing goes. And then finally, I'm just going to load this mag up with 30 rounds and we're going to start driving them out to 600 and see what we come away with. So that's the game plan for today. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's get shooting. All right, guys, let's take a quick look at the rifle I'm going to be using today so you guys know what I'm actually using. So you guys know that I'm big on data, but I'm also big on using off-the-shelf stuff. And the reason I do that is so that you guys can actually directly relate to it, and I don't use custom stuff or anything like that to try and maximize the performance of anything. So what I'm shooting today is the same one I usually use for a lot of my bullet times and most of my other rounds ups. It's going to be my Daniel Defense DDM4 V11. Obviously, it's pretty much stock. The only things that I've added to it or I've changed, I do run my Atlas bipods consistently. I really like them. The only other thing that I've done to change the configuration of the rifle on the internals is I do have a Geisley SSA, which actually matches really well with the Daniel Defense Pro offering. So if you guys are running the Pro versions of the V11 or the V7, it's the exact same rig that you guys would be running. I haven't changed anything to the barrel, nothing on the flash hider, nothing. It's basically a stock rifle, and I want it that way. Yes, it's a Daniel Defense. Yes, it's off the shelf, but it gives us a good baseline of something that anybody can go off, grab off the shelf, and use. The only other thing that I do want to draw attention to is the optic up top. Now, you guys will probably give me a little flack for this one, but yes, up on top, that is a Leupold Mark 6 3-18 with a Tremor 2 reticle. So yeah, it's kind of a top shelf optic up there, but I want to set this thing up for its DMR capabilities, so that's what I'm running. I've got it with a Spur ISMS mount, and that's basically the rig for today, so let's get shooting. Okay guys, here we go. First up is we're going to actually chrono this thing. It's going to be the Black Hills Ammunition. It's the Mark 262 equivalent. It's a 77 grain open tip match round. Published velocity of 2,750 feet per second at the muzzle. And from what I've heard, people are kind of getting those numbers even out of a 16-inch barrel. So let's see what we get here. Temp's about 40 degrees and the wind's a little off from my left, shooter's left. All right, here we go. $25.77, $25.98, $25.88, $25.93, $25.80, $25.91, $25.87, and shot 7, $25.90 again, shot 9 is $25.89, and that's my 10, $25.68. So, let's take a quick look at this, guys. Alright guys, so our average was 25.86, highest was 25.98, lowest was 25.68 for an extreme spread of 30. Standard deviation of 8.7. So it was 10 shots, obviously a little lower than a 2750 that's published for this round. Again, temps here about 40 degrees. So next up, let's do a 10 shot group at 100 yards. Okay guys, I got my camera set down. I have a GoPro down at 100 yards, and so the goal here is I'm just going to shoot for a group, you know, and see what we get with this Black Hills factory seconds in 223. All right, here we go. Okay, there's one. Two. Shot number 3 looked really freaking good. Yeah, it's shooting a little to the right, and I think the wind might be picking up a little bit on me. Yeah, it looks like it is. Let me correct that. There's 10 rounds there. All right, let me go for a second group on this and see what I can get. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Then after I shoot these 10, I'm going to dial in some dope, and we're going to start pushing these things out a little bit and see what we can do with them. Okay guys, now I'm going to zing him. Now I think I'm going to zing him top left, right past his GoPro. Settle in here. Alright. throwing height. Alright, there's another 10. A little tighter than the first one. All in all, not too bad. You know, for a 10-shot group. You know, look for the better part of in an inch. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial up my dope. I'm going to figure out my drops for the conditions right now. Look at the wind, make some calculations, and we're going to see if we can start pushing this thing out and seeing what we can do with it. Again, it's a 77 grain OTM Mansion 223 Remington. All right. Okay, gang, here's what we're going to do. I've got a full mag. I've got 30 rounds of that 77 grain Black Hill seconds, and I've got my GoPro out at 600 yards. And I'm just going to start driving rounds out there and see what kind of success we have. All right, let's get at it. I've got I don't know, about a 7-knot wind shooters left. See my GoPro. I'm locked in 600. Focus a little bit here. All right, guys, here we go, 600. And I saw it's a little low. So I'm going to bring it up. It's dead center though. Alright, I'm going to start. Now, this is shot 2. I'm going to start playing for bowls. Let's see what I get here. Smack, 600. Alright. 3 for 3. Oh, high and left, but I got it. Right, got it. I think that's 30 rounds on target at 600 with this Black Hills. All right, let me go grab that GoPro and I'll be right back. Out to 600, see what we got. It's probably extreme close up there. That was no good. I mean, I had no failures to eject, no failures to feed, no misfires, no nothing. And by and large, I mean, it works. I mean, consistency out to 600 out of a 16-inch government profile barrel, that's not too shabby, really. All right, here we go. We're coming up on 600. There you guys can see. All right, guys, see this? Here we go. GoPro's still alive. GoPro's all good. We'll grab it. But you guys can see here, pretty much, at 600 yards, it'll be interesting to see how they started coming in. I know I had a couple of them that were going a little high and right, but by and large, the elevation was holding steady. I was dealing with some decent winds going left to right, so that was kind of mucking with me a little bit, but all in all, not too shabby at 600 yards out of a 223 Remington. All right, let's get back. Okay, guys, let's wrap this up really quick. So, in a nutshell, the round works. I had absolutely no issues with it. Reliability-wise, there were no failures at all. No failures to feed, no failures to eject, no failures to fire. It performed absolutely perfectly. The actual speeds of it, I think I clocked this thing at 2586, which is a little off from the 2750, which I was a little disappointed with, especially because this was not a round that was, that was a 24-inch barrel SAMI spec kind of a thing. This is supposed to be more real-world speeds. So I came up a little short of that with that 16-inch barrel. However, what it lacked in some of the zip, it absolutely made up for in consistency. So it was a super consistent round. And then you guys saw I put 20 of them down on paper at 100 yards in 2 different 10-shot groups. I mean, it was adequate. It was decent. I was dealing with some wind today, so I don't know if I necessarily want to use that as an excuse. But for the most part, it was, 10-shot groups were pretty solid. And then where this thing really shined is when I took it up to 600. I mean, I just laid them out there and had absolutely no issues whatsoever. So from that perspective, the round does a great job. If you have any concerns about this round being a dud or anything like that, it wasn't my experience today. Again, I'm just one dude shooting, sit out in the wild, kind of a thing. So take it for what it's worth. But for me, the round gets a thumbs up, no issues. And that's basically it. So until next time, stay safe.